Well, hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Newsroom, a fun little gathering where we get together, we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try to make sense out of this crazy thing that we call life. My name is Brian Trippett. I am known as the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes referred to as the fine fella in the fedora. Sometimes I'm called the beau in the chapeau. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, I am, above all else, your host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't care, if I could ask you to expend some effort, do me the following favors. Number one, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Number two, hit the bell for notifications. Let's make sure you're always aware when new material is coming out on this channel. Number three, share the link around with your friends. Number four, leave a thumbs up tonight and also leave a comment in chat. I tell you what, we are loaded up tonight. Yeah, I know. Nothing at all happening in the world. Nothing for us to talk about. I don't know what we're going to find to discuss, but you know what? Somehow, my friends, we will muddle through. And thank you, Gypsy, for being here. Mwah! Good evening, darling. Yeah, it's Tuesday, all right. All right. Let's see who all's in the house so far. We'll say hello to everybody. Well, you know, WWG1's been doing his meme thing. I'll tell you what, he's been memeing all over the place. Woo! TBA's in the house. He's dropped in some memes. Some are pertinent, some are not. Some are just funny because I don't disagree with any of that, sir. I saw all of your memes, and yes, sir, I can attest they are all very funny. Let's see who else is here. It is Nipply on the front porch. You got that right, sister. I don't know what it's like in your neck of the woods. I'm not ready for look, I'm just going to tell you right now, I am not ready for winter. I am not a believer in reincarnation, but if there is such a thing, I'm pretty sure that I am the long lost son of a camel trader from Saharan Africa because I like warm weather. Anything below 70 is too cold, okay? 60 I can maybe make an exception to. But anything below 60, no, that's winter. Nope. I don't care. Yeah, and I'm walking out the past couple of mornings out of my house like, no, I'm not doing it. You can't make me. It's just terrible. It's not going to happen. Let's see who else is here. Oh, AH is in the house. Good evening, AH. Glad to have you here with us. Let's see who else might be here. Comments. All right. All y'all are out there. Rhonda's in the house. Rhonda's here. 40s in Florida. Now, you know, that might make me go even more than the temperatures I'm dealing with in West Virginia because you guys aren't supposed to have cold weather in Florida. What the heck is the matter with you people? Oh, my gosh. Well, now, funny you bring that up. StreamYard is now doing a thing where they're allowing not only horizontal camera view, but vertical camera view. I guess that's for folks who watch on the phone. So I thought, well, we'll try it out tonight. We'll see what happens with it. So, you know, so let's see. So the cold temperatures are a conspiracy by your governor. Okay, maybe he is into this chemtrail stuff. I don't know, man. So wait a minute. You're saying it's Gypsy's fault. Oh, okay. So it's Gypsy's fault. You guys have got 40s down in Florida. Oh my goodness. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a north-south war going on my front porch. It's just terrible. They really did a big update recently. I mean, I haven't had a chance to dive into this thing this update they've done, but to see what all is involved with it. But yeah, they're pretty. The StreamYard people are pretty excited about this. So I'll check it out a little bit more. Yeah, very, very interesting. Oh, no, we're not saying it's always your fault. In this case, however, anyway, I'm willing to talk about chemtrails. Really? Wow. Daggone. Uh, you know, I'm not going to argue with you on this point, my dear. I am not going to argue with you on this point. Mm. Uh, Now, look, wait a minute. You don't need to be egging this on, WWG1. I mean, I'm trying to make peace here, and you're just out there just stirring the pot. Ah, for God's sake. Bad enough that we got a potential, geographic war going over chemtrails down to Florida. Now I got my own audience members trying to stir it up, make it even worse. Jay was wise decision, my friend. Very wise decision. Mm. Oh gosh, we have got a ton of stuff to get into tonight, and I'm going to warn all y'all in advance. I'm probably going to be ranting at various points tonight. Now, for those of you who are maybe new to the electronic front porch, or you've recently become a member of Fedora Nation, if you've never seen me go off on a rant, well, you might want to settle in for this one, because I'm probably ranting, and most of my rant, unfortunately, is directed at someone that I admire, in the name of Donald, whose name is Donald J. Trump. But I'm about ready to turn loose on the old boy, and if you have therapeutic is probably what I'm going to need. Hey, Patty, how you doing tonight, darling? Mwah, good to have you in the audience. Thank you for being with us tonight. So yeah, if you want your friends to get I'm not ranting at you. I am simply saying stop stirring the pot. That's all I'm saying. I don't need Ron DeSantis and Gypsy into it over, accusation of chemtrails being sent down from Michigan to Florida. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, no, we're glad to have you guys here tonight. We got a lot of stuff to get into. A bunch of really good memes tonight. I got to thank WWG1 and TBA for the provisions. And I tell you what, they've got some really good stuff. So let's just dive right in. A lot is made about, the interactions between men and women. And, one of the common, and I honestly do, I think it's a misconception. There's a misconception that women are always finding fault with men, particularly the ones that they're in a relationship with, be they married or dating or whatever. I profoundly disagree with this idea. Uh, you know, being in a relationship myself, the lady is very conscious to try not to point out my faults, because frankly, she doesn't find any. Kidding. But a lot is made about this, tension between men and women, and the accusation that women are always pointing out men's failings. Well, look, I mean, here we have an example that I think, proves my point. A guy says, for the past 30 years, talking to his beloved, all you've done is find mistakes in anything I say. And she rightly points out, no, it was 31 years. Well, wait a minute. Okay, maybe this is not the best proof of my idea that there's not that much disagreement between women and men. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I need to just go ahead and um move along here. Eh, um oh no. What is it? Only my own and no comments BT puts up on the screen. That's not good. Yeah, okay. No, we won't hold it against you, darling. We have complete faith in you. We do not hold that against you. YouTube chat tonight is apparently being a bit finicky. Anyway, um, now here's one that I'm not even going to do an introduction for. I'm just going to let it speak for itself. Um, well, I didn't. Well, that's what are you saying? Interesting. Okay. Well, here's one that just doesn't needs no introduction, frankly. And there you go. There you go. So you think they just need to come on over to Rumble? Well, you may be right. You may be right. Uh, now wait a minute. We don't know. We don't know that Ron DeSantis made YouTube malfunction. But then again, if he did, well, maybe that's not such a bad thing. All things being equal, I don't. No sound. What? Oh, for heaven's sake! All right, sound check. Can anybody hear me out there? This is just getting. This is just getting crazy. What? Well, just because she sent a polar vortex to Florida doesn't necessarily mean that that her computer should be messed up. I don't know. Okay, crazy, crazy. Well, good news, ladies and gentlemen. I hear you, but I just can't see my fellow chatters. That's not good. From Aw. Well, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I can shut one of these babies down. All right, hang on a second. Maybe I can do something about this. One moment, please. Let me see. Hang on one second, folks. All right, we got two of these things going. Now, which one is which, I wonder? Hmm. Hang on. Don't go anywhere, folks. Okay, that one's doing what it should do. Let me look at the other one real quick. Let's see if this is the one I need to get rid of. Yep, that's the one I need to get rid of. Okay. Okay. Hang on a second. I think let me make sure one more time on this. Let me just make sure one more time. There's the top one. Okay, it's the top one. Okay. All right, hang on, guys. I think okay. Now, for all you folks on YouTube, step out, step back in, and let's see what this does. Just saying. Let's try it. For those of you out on YouTube, step out, refine the link. Matter of fact, I'll even do you one better. The rants are incoming. I'm just trying to help out my audience here, okay? So chill out, dude. Thanks. Oy vey. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens here. Well, yes, we know this. Okay. Oh, that fixed it. Okay. All right. Well, now I know never to do that again. Not till I check this thing out. Okay. All right. You're back. She's back. Everybody's happy. Okay. There we go. You know, folks, one of these days I'm going to become so technically proficient, I will never have one bit of problem on my live streams. Of course, I'll have one foot in the grave when that happens, but yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, all right, hold on, folks. Let's get back on track here. Yes, good news, ladies and gentlemen. The government shutdown is over. It is officially done. And people have wondered, what might it have been like if the government shutdown had gone on? Well, I don't know that it would have been quite this utopian, but maybe, just maybe, it would have been a little bit better. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So, yeah. What is that? 346 days? That's what almost 10 years in that meme. Wow. 10 years. My goodness. Delete. Why am I deleting my chat? My chat is good. What are you talking about? Oh Lord. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, you're talking to WWG1. My apologies. My apologies. Oh, Lord, trying to keep up with everything, I tell you. All right. You know, uh, really? I mean, really? Here I am trying to be a conscientious host on my live stream, and what do I get for it? Jeez. Hello, dear. You've missed all the fun. No, I'm not kidding. You've missed. Gypsy, hold that thought, honey, because I got a meme that's just made for you. Just made for you. Anyway, hello, Lana. We're glad to have you in the house tonight. Good to see you, darling. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. A lot of people are still, kvetching about Trump's new ballroom that is being built and will be finished near the end of his term. Well, for all those out there who are complaining about its cost, about everything else, you know, really, I think they need to sit down and stop and consider something, because unless, you know, unless you actually played a pickup basketball game on that Obama basketball court, do you really have the right to complain about what is or is not done with the old East Wing of the White House? I mean, seriously? I mean, I think the cat has Where's Zippy when I need him? Where's Zippy when I need him? I've got a meme here that's just tailor-made for Zippy, and he's not even here to appreciate it. Well, look, no one is saying that, that you have to pay for the room that Trump sets his balls down in. It's all the money that's raised for this project is by private donation. Your tax dollars, sir, are not at all paying for a dime of anywhere in the East Wing where Trump sets his balls down. Thank you very much. Okay. I did not need this image in my head thinking about Zippy. Thank you very much. No, I didn't. Thank you very much, WWG1. Now, if I don't sleep well tonight, I just want you to know this is your fault. Again, you're not going to pay for it, dude. Trump can set his balls down anywhere he wants in the new East Wing of the White House, and you're not going to pay a dime for any of it. Sheesh. Oh, yeah, this audience, I tell you what. American presidents and their families, of course, have had many different pets in the White House. Usually it consists of a dog. I believe the Obamas had a cat, if I remember correctly. Or was that Clinton? I forget which, but I mean, most of the time it's a dog. Well, as with all things Donald Trump, much has been made about the fact that Donald Trump does not have a dog, nor does he have a cat. As a matter of fact, to the best of our knowledge, he has no pets of any kind in the White House, which again, for a president, is a little bit unusual. The cat was the Clintons. Okay. I thought that might have been the case. Couldn't quite remember though. Thank you. But Trump has no pets in the White House. However, I don't think that means he doesn't have animals around Washington, D.C. I mean, for example, you know, you can make a pretty good argument that this meme is not wrong. I mean, I'm just saying. So, again, take it for what it's worth. My only question is, when does he put a dog collar around Chuck Schumer's neck? No, wait a minute. No. Chuck would enjoy that too much. Never mind. Just now there. See, now I've done it to myself. First, WWG1's put an image in my head. Now I just did it to myself. I'm going to have this image of Chuck Schumer wearing a dog collar all night long. Oh my God, this is terrible. Thanks a lot, WWG1. Appreciate it. Oh goodness. No, I would never, ever, ever diss the Zippy. Never. He better not. He better not. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. Oh my God. Oh, well, Rhonda, that's sweet. That is sweet. TBA says, you weren't here on Saturday. By the way, how was the game? You left us high and dry. No front porch to entertain us. The game was great. Unfortunately, Marshall did not win. But everything about that game I went to on Saturday with the lady was just, it was a wonderful experience. Let me just take a little bit of an aside, folks. And for those of you that aren't necessarily interested in sports, forgive me, but this is my hometown. Saturday is what we call a 75 game. And for those of you out there watching that aren't familiar with the story about Marshall University, in 1970, 75 individuals, most of them football players, coaches, etc., died on a plane crash coming back from Greenville, North Carolina to Huntington, West Virginia. Every year during football season, we try to get the closest home game to November 14th as a way to honor those who perished. And the way the university did the ceremonies this year, in-game, pre-game, the players, everything was just very well done. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there were moments I was sitting there in my seat crying. And frankly, if at some point you didn't shed a tear on Saturday, if you were at that game, I mean, I love you and I always still will, but bless your heart. I'm wondering how much heart you got. That's all I'm saying. But to answer your question, TBA, the game was absolutely great. Everything about it. So much appreciated. Oh, there's another thought. Ugh. That's awful. No, I don't think brunch is going to be closed until December. No, I don't think that's the case. But further developments on that. Anyway, moving along. Got a meme here, and I put this one up, and this one is dedicated to Gypsy. Oh, by the way, and also not only is it dedicated to Gypsy, for those of you out there that are looking for gifts for little children, I hear there's a new children's book coming out that you might want to go out to the store and pick up. Although I have heard from some people, it is a book for little children, but it might be a little bit over their heads. Matter of fact, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but here's a picture of the book. Yeah, it's called Cash App's Honey Trouble. Yeah, it looks interesting for a children's book. It looks pretty interesting. I mean, I've got some small great nieces and great nephews. I might get this for them, but yeah. So if you're out there and you're looking for a gift to get for a family member for the holidays that are coming up for Christmas, just consider. I mean, I don't know what the price is on this yet, but it looks really interesting. I mean, looks a little familiar in certain aspects. I'd almost swear it was an old Winnie the Pooh, but obviously with that face on the main character, it couldn't be Winnie the Pooh. I mean, I'm not quite sure who that guy is, but but anyway, This thing is apparently on sale in the near future. So again, if you're out there looking for gifts for your family members, particularly little kids, maybe consider this. It might be a pretty good option for you. Just saying. And anyway, Gypsy, I hope you like that one. All right, what else have we got, folks? Here's a meme that I was sent a little bit earlier. And again, it's one of those memes that, you just really, but well, now that I have heard this, now I've heard that's a rumor, but I have heard that is a possibility. Although why one would get sued over such a thing, I have no idea. Anyway, I've always said there are some memes that you don't need to say anything about. You just need to put them out there because, they speak for themselves. This is one of those moments. And I'll just leave this one up on the screen and let you guys ruminate on this one. There you go. Yep. Like I said, there are some memes. There are some memes that you just don't need to introduce. Let them speak for themselves. One more, and we will get into our topic of the night. Again, one of those memes that just really speaks for itself. And this meme is going to introduce principally our main topic of the night. And you might look at it and say, how does this tie into what we're going to talk about? Just hold that thought. We will get right to it. So I'm just going to pop this one up here. And we're just going to kind of let this one hang out for a second. I don't know who did this one, but this one's pretty ballsy, if you don't mind my saying. So, yeah. So there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, there you go. All right. Your Uber driver McDonald's meme. Oh, that's what that was. One moment, please. Folks, hang loose for a second, because I got to go back and pick up something that our dear friend WWG1, hang on just a second here. My apologies, WWG1, because when I first saw it, I couldn't quite figure out what the heck that one was all about. I'm not going to lie to you. So that one's totally on me because I was being dense. Doggone it. Where are you? One moment, please. No, that's not it. Where are you at, you son of a gun? I know you're here. And that's not it. This meme is here. I know it's here. And that's not it. It must be you, my friend. Okay, that's not it. 1, 2, 3. That's not it. Therefore, it must be the last one. Aha! Got it. Okay. Folks, sometimes you have to wonder about Uber drivers. Don't get me wrong. By and large, most of them are friendly, efficient. They bring you your food when requested, particularly if they're moonlighting as DoorDash people. That's all great. However, sometimes you need to be careful about where they have been, especially if they're delivering you food. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. The next time you get that McDonald's order from your friendly Uber DoorDash guy, you might want to check that one out. Again, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Hmm. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Uh, okay, WWG1. I just want you to know that if we have a further downturn in the economy, buddy, you might be at fault for this. If some DoorDash Uber driver out there loses their job because of that meme, this one might be on you, brother. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, yeah. Jeez. Oh Lord. Anyway, who was it? Somebody popped a comment in here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was Lana. I wonder who stole Trump's balls. I voted for some deep state perp walks and zero so far. Laying aside the second part of that, it's the first part that everybody's starting to wonder about. And that next to last meme I did, uh, having to do with what we all voted for, sort of leads into our main topic of the night. And oh, hello, LL Liberty. Glad to have you here with us. Yes, it's a different fedora. It's a different fedora. Absolutely different fedora. I have a few of them in my collection, and this is one of the first that was purchased in the past few years. So we'll see. Anyway, as you all know, since last Tuesday's election, the White House, or more particularly Donald Trump, because let's be honest, Trump is the White House, is trying to figure out how to recalibrate. Now, I say trying to figure out because normally when you take the kind of shellacking that a political party takes, such as was done to the Republicans last Tuesday night, you step back and you start saying, okay, why did we lose this badly? What do we need to do about it to make sure we don't keep losing? And how do we go forward? Now, the fascinating thing about what's taking place right now, at least to me anyway, I think there are people in the White House trying to figure out what the heck do we do? And then there are some people who are like, there's nothing wrong. One of the people who seems to believe that nothing is wrong is Donald Trump. I think that's an enormous mistake on his part, but we'll get to that momentarily. But the White House is trying to figure out how to recalibrate in all this. Because now the big bugaboo is affordability, 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 affordability. Nobody can afford anything, which, by the way, do not take the way I say that as being dismissive. I'm not trying to be. I happen to agree with that sentiment. Even though they're at a minimum, there is stabilization of prices. I don't think they're coming down quickly enough to meet the voters' expectation. Did I think everything was just going to go through the floor the minute Trump got back in? No. But I think that there's an expectation, and I'm not going to lie, in part I feel this way, that we should see differences being made. Maybe not a huge macro things, but basic differences. I got asked a question by Gypsy. What's your take on Marjorie Taylor Greene? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll answer that real fast. At this point, I have no reason to believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene is acting in any way other than how she would otherwise normally act, all things being equal. Now, some people have suggested she's mad at Trump because Trump put the kibosh on a potential run for the U.S. Senate that Marjorie Taylor Greene supposedly had some interest in. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's floating around out there. And people are saying, well, that explains why she's being so critical of the president. I don't know that she's being so much critical of the president as much as she's saying what a lot of us are already thinking. I haven't yet come across anything she said that I necessarily disagree with, nor do I find it being, unfairly critical of the president. I mean, you asked me my take on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's like a lot of us who are in this audience tonight, or out there live streaming, be it small or big channels. We want to see the president succeed. Why? If he succeeds and implements the policies that he ran on, we all succeed. So I don't necessarily have a beef with Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point. Now, if she starts taking, unsubstantiated or unfounded pot shots, okay, at that point, I got a problem. At this point, I don't think any of her criticisms are unfair. Anyway, so right now the big bugaboo is affordability. Now that is true. That's true. I don't necessarily disagree with that. And yeah, if he fails, we are screwed. But affordability. Hello, Mr. Scott. Awesome. Glad to have you in the audience tonight, brother. Fist bump to you. Is speaking truth, and yeah, he is. As a matter of fact, I got a feeling that Donald Trump's pissed off at a lot of people right now. But he needs to pull back and realize the people that he's mad at, if he stops and thinks about it, are the people that want to help him the most. And actually the people that care about his presidency the most for various reasons. But affordability. We got to make things more affordable for Americans, which, okay, should have been doing that all along, but all right. That said, Stephen Miller appeared on Larry Kudlow's show on Fox Business to tell you how hyped up about this issue. As always, give me a sound check. Let me know if everything's coming through, and listen to this.
I need to answer it. What is next for the economic plan for this president? We're focusing relentlessly on affordability. So President Trump's working to bring down the cost of living even more than he already has. So Thanksgiving meals are going to be 25% cheaper. But President Trump is not content with that. He is fighting to bring down the cost of every single consumer and household good. And the tax bill is going to be a huge part of this, because when we make life more affordable for our companies, for domestic industry, for domestic manufacturing, with 100% expensing, with the largest tax cuts in history, then prices are going to keep coming down.
Okay, Stephen, I don't disagree with you, but okay, the cost of goods coming down for businesses is one thing, and yeah, that will translate to the average consumer, but consumer needs to kind of feel it, brother. Needs to kind of feel it. So you can tell the White House, a lot of members of the White House staff are up on this issue. And so much so, in fact, some ideas are being floated right now. And frankly, these ideas are probably going to be the genesis of my rant for tonight. Because I think Trump is reacting more than he's being proactive. Here's what I'm talking about. He put out something on Truth Social the other day. It goes like this. People that are against the tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation. Okay. And a record stock market price. Donald, piece of advice. Get off the stock market. The overwhelming majority of your supporters don't own a single solitary stock. They don't have 401. They could care less about Wall Street. They do care about their Main Street, but they ain't worried about Wall Street, brother. Will you get off of it? Exactly. These are the things like this. Gasoline prices. focus on if I can give any advice, if anybody at the White House, and more particularly if Donald J. Trump himself should happen across this live stream, brother, can I give you some advice? Stop worrying about Wall Street. Start paying attention to Main Street. And I got some reactions from people that I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. There is palpable frustration, disgust, regret, despair, and anger out there. And I don't mean from Democrats. No. I'm talking about from Trump's own political base. And if this doesn't get cured fast, come next November, if you think the shellacking the Republicans took this November in these off-year elections was bad, oh, Katie, bar the door, you ain't seen nothing yet. But anyway, back to this post from Truth Social. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt of $37 trillion. Record investments in the U.S. Plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Well, what does that mean? Well, to read that makes you think Trump's thinking about a $2,000 stimulus check for people below a certain income level. Now you've got his Secretary of the Treasury, Besson. He's trying to walk that back and say, well, it might be more in the way of a tax cut or a tax credit. Okay, so now we got mixed messaging. The boss wants to do one thing. His people are telling him to do another. I don't know. But Trump's floating the idea of a $2,000 stimulus check. Well, no, not even stimulus. You can't call it stimulus. You cannot call it stimulus. Let's just say a tariff dividend check. Let's just call it that. So $2,000 tariff dividend check. Hold that thought, honey. We're coming to that. We're coming to that. And yet, for what it's worth, Mr. Scott Awesome, there's a lot of people who feel just like you do. So you got Trump floating the idea, a dividend, a tariff dividend check. Which, by the way, Alaska does something very similar to this. I'd have to go back and look at the details on it, but I remember very specifically, Alaska gives to their citizens an amount of money each year above and beyond the monies that is needed to run the government of Alaska, and it comes off of profits that the government of Alaska takes in off of oil. So a tariff dividend check, okay, maybe not such a bad idea, maybe. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my memory. I thought that was the case. So Trump's floating the idea of a $2,000 dividend check. Okay. We'll just put that one to the side and just use that as an example. That's some idea they're floating. Yeah, well, yeah. We could all use it, honey. I could use it. You could use it. We could all use it. Believe me, federal government wants to give me a $2,000 tariff dividend check. I am not turning it down. I got stuff I can do with it. Believe me. But I'm with you on that one, sister. Then Trump floated an idea, and oh, mother of God, here's where my rant is going to start. Now, brother, if we can get that one, now we're talking. If we get that, we're cooking. But Trump and his people floated an idea over the weekend that when I say that Trump's reacting as opposed to being proactive, this is what I mean. And it's not just an idea of him being reactive. I think this is evidence that somebody is whispering honey potions in his ear, and he's taking some bad advice, especially if he goes forward with this idea. From the UK Independent, Trump considering shake-up to housing market by offering listen to this, a 50-year mortgage, and not just 30-year terms. Last month, 93% of Americans said they believe housing costs are too high. Article by Kelly Rissman out of New York City. We have the following. Dateline, Washington, D.C. The Trump administration is considering a 50-year mortgage and not just the traditional 30-year term, a potential game changer for the housing market, said Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte. Thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer, Pulte wrote in a social media post Saturday. He later posted that the proposal aims to help with affordability. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, incoming rant in 3, 2, 1. This is a stupid idea. This is no, it's not just terrible, my dear. It's not just a terrible idea. This is stupid on so many different levels. Okay. Now, a little bit of background about your humble host. In a previous life, I used to work in the mortgage industry. Very recently, as a matter of fact. In August, I changed jobs. I'm now working in a completely different industry, which is very challenging, especially for someone at my age doing a complete change like that occupationally. But I say all that to set it up. I used to work in the mortgage industry. Okay. So I've got some familiarity with how the business works. And even beyond the mortgage industry, I used to work in retail banking. Okay. So I understand loans, interest rates, amortization terms, etc. This is a stupid idea. Okay. Now, if you want some proof of why this is a stupid idea, I put something together for you guys, and hopefully anybody else who watches this live stream is going to find this educational. This is from a website called calculator.net. Okay. And hopefully you guys can see this. Let me see if I can enlarge that just one more time, maybe make that a little better for you guys. Yeah, that'll work. 175. Okay. What I did before the show, I went out and found some numbers. The average, according to what I found, the average price of a home in the United States right now is about $435,000. Okay. So I just plugged in some numbers. I said, okay, let's assume you were getting a standard FHA loan, which requires 3.5% down. All right. Which a lot of people take advantage of that opportunity. Okay. And let's say you do that on a 30-year term. Okay, cool. So far, so good. And the average rate right now on a 30-year mortgage is 6.38%. All right. Now that means, and not counting taxes and interest. Okay. Not counting taxes and insurance. In other words, your escrow. Okay. Not counting your escrow, here's what that works out to. $435,000 house, 6.38% interest rate on a 30-year term. Your monthly payment is $2,620. Now, go a little further down. Here's how that works out. Your total payment, okay, works out to about $943,000. The total interest, now catch this, the total interest that you will pay on this loan, which by the way, this is a standard 30-year rate mortgage loan. Okay. It's what we do right now. Okay. On a standard 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay about $423,000 in interest. All right. Now, those are some very big numbers. I do not deny any of that, but I'm setting that up to show you something. Now, affordability. We've got to bring prices down. We've got to let people keep more of their own money. And we can do that if we just stretch the term out on a mortgage to 50 years. Okay. Now, WWG1, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I don't necessarily disagree with you at all. But I'm just saying, all things being equal, that's all I'm saying. We got to make things more affordable. We got to let people keep more of their own money. If we just stretch, if we start introducing these 50-year mortgages, then that'll do it. That'll let people save more of their own money. Okay. Let's analyze that. Let's analyze that for just a second. Okay. Here is another scenario, assuming a 50-year term. Okay. $435,000, again, 3.5% down, assuming a 50-year term. And by the way, you'll notice something. I assumed the same interest rate on a 50-year note as I did on a 30. Now, I point that out to say the following. You see down here at the bottom of the screen? You'll notice that as the term goes up, so does the interest rate. Okay, that's not surprising. That's not surprising at all. As you might expect, the longer the term, the higher the interest rate. Why? Because the banks are pricing in the risk. But I just, for the sake of this example, I just assume the same 30-year rate for a 50-year loan. Now, you know what they said about, you'll get to keep more of your own money? That part's true. Look at that. Your payment goes down almost $300. Yeah, almost $300 a month. That's great. It's just one little problem. Look at the amount of interest you pay out over the long run. $977,000. You are doubling the amount of interest that the bank is going to earn. Now, WWG1's been posting, and I will put his comments up here. Okay. And these are all fair. These are all totally fair. Because the other side of the argument says, you can pay ahead. You can make a 50-year mortgage, a 2-year mortgage if you pay ahead. And he's right. If done correctly, yeah, you can get ahead on it. Okay. You can absolutely get ahead. And should people do it that way? Absolutely. I don't dispute any of that at all. Okay. A lot of people either are not in a position to be able to do it, or they just won't do it, period. Now, that's on them if they choose not to do it. Okay. If they've got the means by which to do what WWG1's talking about, but they don't, well, that's on them. And that's a fair criticism of the consumer. Okay. I don't dispute that at all. What I'm saying is, for everybody who's not in a position to be able to do, extra payments ahead or pay every 2 weeks or what have you, okay, this little solution that's being floated by some of Trump's people, which by the way, there are now reports coming out that the Trump White House is just torqued as all get out at Bill Pulte, the guy who floated this idea, that they got caught blindsided by all the criticism. Which, okay, that's internal politics of the White House. But if the Trump administration was seriously considering this idea, beyond the guy who floated it, this is just a stupid idea. I could sit here and go on for so many different reasons. Okay, and again, completely fair statement. You're right. As a matter of fact, you can make a pretty good argument. What caused the housing crisis of 2008 is that we forgot 5 very important words: if they can afford it. What am I getting at? Prior to Bill Clinton loosening up the rules on obtaining a home mortgage, the banks had pretty strict rules in place about who could be lent to and under what circumstances. Clinton comes along and says the following: everyone should be able to have a house in America. But he forgot 5 very important words: if they can afford it. So we started loosening up the rules on who was able to get a loan and under what circumstances. Then we got a whole bunch of people out there with the inability to pay the mortgage loans back. Then we got Wall Street packaging up these loans and trading them around like candy. Then we get a downturn in the economy. Then the housing market goes to crap. The economy goes to crap. And we're bailing out banks to the tunes of trillions of dollars. Good evening, Miss Tesla. Glad to have you in the house. Oh, yeah, that's true too. That is really true. Really true. I'd forgotten about that part of it. But this idea of a 50-year mortgage, this is just plain crazy. Absolutely just plain crazy. And again, WWG1's, statements are completely valid on the other side of the argument. But I'm just saying, if the White House is generally serious about this, this is just stupid. And frankly, serves nobody but the banks. They'll make a whole lot more money on interest on their mortgage loans. I'm not so sure this is such a good, no, I know it's not such a good idea for the average consumer. Then as a joke, okay, someone floated this, which by the way, this is not official from the White House, but someone said, well, hey, if they're working on this, hey, let's do 15-year car loans. Now, I say this is facetious, and it totally is. As a matter of fact, just to let everybody know, the claim is apparently satire inspired by Trump's proposal about 50-year mortgages. Okay. Oh, this I didn't know this. I knew there were 7-year loans, but I didn't know there were 10-year loans. Jeez. Holy cow. I mean, 50-year mortgages. We're joking around about 15-year car loans. Now we've got reports about, 10-year car loans that are already out there. Wow, a 96-month car loan. What is it? What is that? 9? No, wait a minute. 12 into 96 is, oh, okay, that's 8 years. Yeah, that's an 8-year car loan. Jeez. So we've got 8 to 10-year car loans out there floating around right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, 90. Yeah, so 8-year car loans. Well, then let me do something real fast. Heck. Eight-year car loan, 96 months. Yeah, I mean, do not even, I could sit here and get started on the car loan idea. This just awful. And yet our president goes on Laura Ingraham last night. Did any of you guys see this interview? Well, funny you should say that. Hang on. Now I got to find this clip. Average age of a home buyer in United. I saw this earlier today. I had half a notion to put this up. I'm going to show you something. You say maybe 50-year mortgages because people are living longer. Let me show you something. Let me enlarge this a little bit, make it easier for you guys to read. I want you to see this. The average age of a U.S. home buyer has reached a record high of 59 years old, according to a new report from the National Association of Realtors released on a November, released today. If the idea of a 50-year mortgage is because people are living longer, then I guess the federal government is expecting us to live to 109. Okay, this is an interesting thing. 100-year mortgage, but it's more geared along the intergenerational loan. Okay, depending on how that's done, that could be interesting. If the mortgage is passed down to the children or maybe even the grandchildren of the owner of the house, that's different. Okay, all right. Here's something else. As I stick my ear into this conversation. Interesting. But the president goes on Laura Ingraham last night, and folks, the rant's been getting warmed up. Here's where it probably gets started in earnest. I want you to listen to this. And like I said, y'all know me. I've got a lot of respect for Donald Trump. Okay, for a lot of reasons. But here's where I'm probably going to start ranting at the guy. With that, check this out.
The economy was listed as a top concern. I know you know this for voters in New Jersey, New York, Virginia. And I've been all over the affordability issue today and for the last several months. Eggs, gas, dinner costs for Thanksgiving way down. But other things, as you noted, have gone up. Beef, coffee, auto repairs. Is this a voter perception issue of the economy, or is there more that needs to be done by Republicans on Capitol Hill or done in terms of policy?
Now, that's a fair question. Now, look, Laura Ingraham is a cheerleader, okay? And I'm not saying that to be unkind to her. It's just she's on Fox News. She's rah-rah, usually yada, yada, okay? But that's a fair question. Is this thing about affordability just something in the minds of the voters, or is there more that needs to be done? Extremely fair question. It's how Trump answers this that's going to make y'all crazy. Here we go.
And anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats. They're saying they just have to say, they put out something. Say today, costs are up. They feed it to the anchors of ABC, CBS, and NBC, and a lot of other, and CNN, and et cetera. And it's like a standard. I'll never forget they had used a word like manufactured. Do you remember the word manufactured? It's a manufactured.
Hang on. Let me see what I can do about the volume, guys. I've been asked to turn it up. One moment, please. Let me see what I can do here. Un momento. Whoop. Un momento, por favor. Okay, you're cranked up as high as I can get you to go. Okay. And I apologize in advance, folks. I think that's as good as I'm going to be able to get it. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's try that. Let's see if that helps a little bit. All right. Here we go. Let's try that again.
Economy. Nobody uses that word. Every anchor broke the manufactured. They do exactly what they say. It's such a rigged system. So are you ready? Costs are way down. Gasoline is going to be hitting $2 pretty soon, or around $2. Gasoline is at $2.70 now, and it was at $4.50 under Biden, under Sleepy Joe.
I want to back this up just a little bit, okay? Here we go.
On Capitol Hill or done in terms of policy?
More than anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats. They're saying they just have to say, they put out something.
It's a con job, ladies and gentlemen. This thing about affordability is a con job, don't you know? It's all a con job. Now let's listen to how the con job is done.
Say today, costs are up. They feed it to the anchors of ABC, CBS, and NBC, and a lot of other, and CNN, and et cetera. And it's like a standard. I'll never forget they had used a word like manufactured. Do you remember the word manufactured? It's a manufactured economy. Nobody uses that word. Every Anchor, broker, manufactured. They do exactly what they say. It's such a rigged system. So are you ready? Costs are way down. Gasoline is going
Oh, costs are way down, don't you know? Don't you know all our lives are getting better every single day? We don't have an affordability issue, don't you know?
to be hitting $2 pretty soon, or around $2. Gasoline is at $2.70 now, and it was at $4.50 under Biden, under Sleepy Joe. When gasoline comes down, when energy comes down, and everybody agrees energy's down, we're drilled, drill baby drill. We're going like wild. We produce more gasoline, oil and gas in the last month than we ever have before, by far. And we're going to also end up filling up the national strategic reserves, which were taken out by Biden in order to try and win an election. Didn't work out too well. They tapped in. That's supposed to be for war, for national emergency, not to get.
So are you saying that voters are
they're being fed a
misperceiving
con job.
how they feel, or
So when I took over, you remember?
because you said Biden did that too, because he was saying things were great, but
let's
things
say
weren't great.
it's synonymous, Biden and Kamala, because you didn't know who the hell was campaigning. I mean, it got to a point. So I was up by 20 points on Biden or some crazy number. And they said, all right, let's get him out. We'll put a new one. This never happened to anybody. All of a sudden, I have somebody new. And they had the 6-week honeymoon, which was standard in the world of politics. You get a little honeymoon. And she had her little honeymoon, but then eventually people got to know her too. And then they had the 60 Minutes catastrophe where they, changed her answer.
Housing costs are.
It's a con job. It is a con job, don't you know? Oh, man. Just hang on a minute. I got to find something here. Because I've got to remind everybody of something. Okay? If I can. I thought I was going to, but I can do this verbally. Rush Limbaugh once said something as it relates to Donald Trump and his supporters. And Limbaugh said the following words to this effect: the only way that the bond will be broken between Donald Trump and his supporters is if Trump breaks the bond. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying he's done it yet, but he's really, really, really working hard on breaking that bond. Trump, I mean. And it's all a con job, don't you know? Oh, yeah? If it's such a con job, then explain some of the following. Now, these are anecdotal examples, but here's from the UK Daily Mail. Wendy's to close 300 stores across the United States. That was a report as of yesterday. Here's another one for you. From Newsweek, car repossessions are approaching record high as delinquency rates soar. Okay? All right. Record number of cars being repossessed as Americans continue to fall behind on their auto loans amid a mounting financial strain, according to data from the Recovery Database Network analyzed by Gettr Repossession. 2025 has seen 7.5 million repo assignments, authorizations given to an agency to recover a vehicle on behalf of a lender. Based on historic trends, this figure is expected to reach 10.5 million by the end of the year. Although recovery ratios have fallen in recent years, potentially lowering the number of actual repossessions, it is projected that the over 3 million cars could be repossessed in 2025, a level only reached in 2009 during the Great Recession. If it's such a con, why is some of this stuff happening? Now, again, these are anecdotal examples. I'm not sitting here saying I got all the scientific data and I can prove to you that, everything is horrible and doom and gloom. And yes, I grant you that. Okay. 15 million cars sold every year. Is that 7.5 million from all cars on the road? I don't know the answer to that one. I happened to find this piece of data. Thought I'd bring it to you. Not sure. And this is true too. This is true too. Okay. It's just, if Trump is looking for ways to make things better, how about we try some of this? Here's one for you from Mike Cernovich. Making student loan debt dischargeable in bankruptcy would solve almost every problem. Costs would decrease. Universities wouldn't have the profit margins to fund DEI deans. That Trump and the GOP won't do this reveals a lot. And again, it's just one idea. But student loan debt cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. What if we did that? That'd be interesting. Here's another one for you. Here, try this. 70% of mortgage loans are below 5% as far as the interest rate. The best solution to make housing affordable is to make all those mortgages transferable from the seller to the buyer. The sellers will come on the market, and the buyer will see monthly payments below $2,000 again. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Again, I'm not saying these two solutions I just showed you are the best, but I'm just saying there are alternatives to what's being proposed. Oh, thank you, dear. It's very kind of you. Thank you for the super chat. Up in Connecticut, missed you guys every day in every way. I am getting better. Glory, hallelujah. Glad to see it and hear it. Absolutely. Fantastic, my dear. Fantastic. And thank you for the super chat. It's very gracious of you. Very generous indeed. Yeah, I'm just saying, guys, these ideas that are being promoted, at least by some people, seem to me to benefit banks, benefit institutions, but what are they doing for the little person? You know, what is it doing for you and me? It just seems to me Trump is reacting as opposed to thinking his way through this, which also points out the civil war that's going on inside the White House. Depending upon which set of commentaries you listen to, it seems like there's two sides to this. On one side, you got J.D. Vance, you got Robert Kennedy Jr., you got Tulsi Gabbard, you got Stephen Miller, you got many others. On the other side, you got Susie Wiles, you got Pam Bondi, you got Kash Patel, Lutnick, a whole bunch of them. And unfortunately, right now, Trump's listening more to them than he is to the MAGA or Maha-oriented people. Okay, fair point. I give you that. Fair point. My contention, however, is a government. Doesn't matter if it's run by Republicans, Democrats, or whatever. A government's first responsibility is to create the kind of economic conditions under which a person can thrive. Under the rule of law, under a set of basic tenets of morality, and in a free market system. I don't want the government managing my money either. Okay. But I do want them to create the kind of environment where there's the chance for upward mobility. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. Just some thoughts. Now, here's another one from last night's interview with Laura Ingraham. This is probably the one that's going to make you mad the most. If you thought that everything you heard was already getting on your nerves, get ready, because this is the question as it relates to China, and 600,000 Chinese students. Get ready to have your blood pressure explode.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money.
Sure.
Again, totally reasonable question and a very fair one. Look, how many kids do you know? And again, every child's circumstances are different. But how many people do you know or know of that would be a fabulous student in college? Okay. Maybe they want to go into a profession where a college education is necessary. Okay. But they can't get in because no room in the inn, so to speak. Okay. So she's asking what I think is a very reasonable question. It's the answer is going to drive you nuts.
Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think.
Okay. No offense to friends of mine who are, who are involved in the academic professions, nor would I ever want to see any of them out of work. On the other hand, when you've got universities that more or less are indoctrination centers, would it really be bad if half of them went out of business? I don't know, man. I don't know. Now, let me back that up and play it again. Listen to this. Listen to what he says.
Of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
I love the way Laura Ingraham said, so what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of college.
Now, wait a minute. So let me get this straight. You're defending the idea of letting over 500,000 Chinese students come into the United States take up slots in our colleges and universities. And your defense for this is if we don't do it, then you're going to have black colleges go out of business? Oh, come on, Mr. President. That's thin. That's extremely thin. Anyway, back to the clip.
Colleges and universities would
So
go
we're
down the
dependent on
tubes.
China to keep our university system
but
going?
I think it's good to have. I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay.
Now, hold on a minute. I want to see our school system thrive. Okay, I got no problem with that either. But excuse me, which one's more important? Seeing the university system thrive or seeing a university system that allows American students to go into colleges and universities so they have the chance for upward mobility? Are we defending the system or the American people? I'm sorry, I think that's a very reasonable question. If all we're doing here is defending the system, then why have Trump? Let's just put some bureaucrat behind the Resolute desk and let them run the country. Because after all, it's all about making sure the system works, not the system working to the benefit of the citizens of the nation. I mean, oh, jeez. Honey, you're not the only one that feels this way. I'm not totally there yet, but there needs to be some serious correction here. Anyway, back to the clip.
And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. You know, people are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months.
Again, this is a problem. I'm very happy that you are solving conflicts around the world. How about we solve some conflicts here in the United States that are affecting you and me and all of our fellow citizens? How about we start solving those? I'm very happy that you have a hand in ending conflicts around the world between various nations. However, there's one nation that you're responsible for above everybody else, and it's the United States of America. How about that, Mr. President?
I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country.
Why? It's not their university system that they're coming into. It's our university system that is supposed to be for our kids first. Why don't we want all these students to not, foreign students to not be able to get in? Excuse me? Anyway, the remainder of the clip, and get ready because your blood pressure is about to go off.
Destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea.
Whoa, wait. See, hold on. What did you say? What did you say? Come again with that? Oh, let's back that up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's back that up a little bit. I think everybody needs to hear this.
Half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system.
How are we going to destroy a university and college system when these universities and colleges are sitting on endowment funds of billions of dollars? Explain that to me. Most of these universities are sitting on endowment funds or reserve funds totaling millions, or in some cases, billions of dollars. You mean to tell me they haven't got enough cash reserve to get them by until they can figure out exactly how to recalibrate their enrollments such that, hey, we can make it without foreign students? Seriously? You're telling me if we don't let 600,000 Chinese students into America, it's going to destroy our educational system? I'm sorry, Mr. President. I love you. I got total respect for you, but you are just flat dead wrong on this. This is craziness. But again, get ready, because MAGA ain't you. It ain't me. Here's where it comes from.
I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was
MAGA was his idea. Make America Great Again was his idea. Really?
It's nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Back that up. Back it up.
University and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else.
Unbelievable.
And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Yes, we want to see our country thrive, but how are we seeing our country thrive by letting people who are not even citizens of this country enjoy the fruits and benefits of what generations before us have built, and we don't even get to enjoy the blessings of our own posterity? This is madness. I don't know what's gotten into this guy. Who did I see that comment from? Oh, honey, you are so right. Well, but it's not even his phrase. Reagan used that phrase back in the 1980 campaign. He borrowed it. Hey, oh my Lord. Uh, I told you it's going to be ranting tonight, and I apologize. I really do. I really do. Folks, now mind you, he's talking about 600,000 Chinese students coming in from China. And last night, while this interview is being aired with Laura Ingraham, out at UC Berkeley in California, at a Turning Point USA event, this is what American citizens had to go through on college campuses in the United States. That's just a taste of it. That's just one example. Let me show you one more. Again, from UC Berkeley last night. At a Turning Point USA event out at UC Berkeley.
Break it up! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Hey, white boy! Break it up! You're bleeding, bitch! Hey, white boy! You're bleeding, white boy! Hey, white boy! White boy! You're bleeding! Break it up! What happened? What happened, white boy? Relax. Take a deep breath. Relax.
Mr. President, and I say this with all due respect, quit worrying about what's going on in Gaza. Quit worrying about what's going on in Israel. Quit worrying about trying to make Zelensky listen to you when it comes to Ukraine. Quit worrying about ending wars all over the world. Quit worrying about everybody else's country and start worrying about ours. You know, the country that you were elected to lead. Because here's the thing. You've got basically, according to some people's estimates, 6, maybe 8 months to turn around the fracture that is happening inside your own political base. You want to know why Republicans across the country got smoked last Tuesday night? It's real simple. MAGA didn't come out to vote. That new coalition of voters that you managed to bring together in 2024 took one look at what's been going on. They went, bye-bye. We're out of here. We're not even going to vote. And lest you think I'm being a little bit critical here, let me show you some responses that Mark Mitchell, who heads up Rasmussen Reports, the polling firm, some of the responses he's getting. This is just one of them. I'm sure you're getting a flood of messages, so I'll probably get lost in the mix, but I figured why not? I'm one of the lucky ones. I got married after surviving college in the 2010s, had a great scholarship, no debt, and beautiful young children, but I am beyond angry. Total disillusion began in 2020 with the lockdowns. I lost my job from COVID months after graduating early, but only worked for a couple of months, so I didn't qualify for unemployment or assistance. I begged for any jobs available, and no one was hiring. Well, I saw millions get free handouts and ride on laziness. I tried selling Christmas trees, shoveled shit at a pig farm for cash, worked for a contractor. Riots hit where we were, and nothing was done to stop them. We saw the country destroyed and collapse, and Trump did nothing. Then the COVID vax mandates almost forced my wife and I to lose our remaining jobs while she was pregnant. Trump and his leadership was MIA, if not encouraging this. We would have lost everything after finally getting back on our feet. So let's just put as a paper miracle from God at this final hour for us, no help from the GOP. Give you another one. After moving during all this, we finally had a chance to move back to my hometown in New England. My family has been there since they came down from Quebec in the 1700s to work in the mills in Rhode Island. The mills are, of course, crumbling and cracks den at this point. Crack dens, excuse me. We hope to move up north, but the boomers bought out all the real estate. The little reigning inventory was 700,000 with zero job opportunities. And on and on and on this goes. I think that's part of his problem. I think that's a big part of his problem. Big part of it. Well, but here's my question. How much pain? Yeah, some people need to learn because of pain, but why should I have to suffer because of someone else is stupid? I'm not stupid. I'd like to think I'm not stupid, but I'm suffering because somebody else is stupid. How much suffering do I have to do because of somebody else is stupid? How much suffering do you have to do because of somebody else is stupid? Again, just some thoughts. Well, here's my question. All right. Let's take that on for a second. Am I suffering? No, not really. Not really. Not yet. But how long is it going to be before effects through the economy ripple over into my area of the world or yours or somebody else's? Maybe I get lucky and I scrape my way through this thing and I don't get hurt that bad. But what about all the other people who do? They've played. Here is what I would argue for my part. Here is what I would argue is probably the biggest frustration that a lot of people feel right now. And maybe I'm summing it up the way they would. I don't know. I've played by the rules. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I try to obey the law. I try to be a good friend. I try to be a good neighbor. I try to be the decent person that I was raised to be. But there's no advantage to me in doing it anymore because I'm watching everybody else be lazy, gluttonous slobs, and they're getting ahead while I'm barely scraping by. Now, is what I just described true of every person? No, not necessarily, but there is a palpable anger out there right now. And it's getting worse. True. That is true. Totally true. Oh, yeah. A really interesting session. All right. A little bit of something fun as we're getting ready to go out the door. Oh, by the way, Thursday night, I have a guest coming on. Just a heads up, 7:00 Thursday night, Mr. Eric Soto. He is the proprietor of a YouTube and Rumble channel called Big Red One Guy. Really wonderful fellow, wonderful guy. And I'm looking forward to it. He's going to be here for an interview for chatting on the porch. So 7:00 this Thursday night. But as we're getting ready to go out the door, I thought maybe something fun and you guys would enjoy it. And I set this up with a meme, compliments of the boys over on Rumble. The face they make when I ask them if they want to donate their tip to Mom Donnie. Now, that is the setup for some news coming out of New York City. Okay. Compliments of WWG1. The nation's largest trucking company says it will no longer service New York City after Mamdani takes office. Quote, we've instructed our dispatchers to reject loads to any of the 5 boroughs. We don't see a way to continue doing business in the Big Apple. The news comes as Mamdani released his plan to increase revenue across the city by quadrupling the cost of tolls, licensing, permits, and inspections on all commercial vehicles. a very small amount of memes. If they don't get used Thursday, they'll be used elsewhere. But a small amount of memes. Give us some time to chat with our friend. As we go out the door, compliments of WWG1. Folks, you remember Frank Sinatra's New York, New York? Well, there's been an updated version of that. And I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. This is the Mamdani version of New York, New York. And I hope you enjoy it.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want no friggin' part of it. New York, New York. These Hugo Boss shoes are longing to stray and take an Uber to LaGuardia, Ta-ta, New York. I want to wake up in a city that's safe and free, without that slick jive-ass mayor, Comrade Mamdani. It's clear that Gen Z knows no history, just DEI and woke philosophy. Imagine North Korea with a dash of Sharia. That's what you got. New York, New York. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that feels like home, and not with defunded police, migrants galore, man-dummy run grocery stores. Thinks he's a genius, AOC with a penis. It's time to stick a fork in it. New York, you're done. Soon the tax base will be gone to Boca Raton, while Jaime Town becomes Commie Town. Should've elected the hack instead of the quack. Rest in peace, New York, Commie Town. New York, Commie Town.
And there you go, folks. An alternative version of New York City. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. As always, you've been an absolutely wonderful audience. We will be back this Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Remember, we're doing an interview this Thursday night with Mr. Eric Soto, otherwise known on social media as the Big Red One Guy. And looking forward, he had me on his channel a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to return the favor. Really cool dude, really nice guy. I'm looking forward to having him here, introducing you guys to him and all that goes with it. So yes, hit that thumbs up button on your way out, folks. I would genuinely appreciate it. Share the link around with your friends. Leave a comment in chat. It really does help. And thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be back this Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Love you guys very much. And as always, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Love you guys very much. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday night.